Some really exciting news just dropped. The World Series of Warzone is coming back. I'm Gojj, this is Katie, and we're the Bot Lobby Podcast. We're going to break down everything you need to know about the World Series of Warzone. Katie, I mean, this is crazy. I really wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, we've kind of been in a holding pattern since the last World Series of Warzone. So to see it come back and especially have that content for when CDL wraps up, I think is going to be great, not only for viewers, but of course, everyone who's going to try and compete.
Exactly. Well, let's go through all of the details so you know exactly how to register and play, or maybe just watch your favorite competitors. Let's swing over. First and foremost, World Series of Warzone. Call of Duty put out a tweet about World Series of Warzone, and they had this 2-minute promo video. We'll show you a little bit part of that on the screen. Honestly, Katie, I really liked this video. There was like a lot of promo about not only the event and some of the format explainer, but also like some hype, B-roll, if you will, of the game itself.
Yeah, I will say Call of Duty always does a really great job of making these videos actually hype. You always want to click on them. You always want to see what they have to show. And I'm not surprised that they knocked it out of the park here.
Yeah, well, also in this video, they talk about some of the format that we're going to walk through, but they do link at the bottom the World Series of Warzone website. And that website takes you to worldseriesof.warzone.com. This is kind of the landing page that you see. And this is where you start getting all of your intel. If you just scroll down one page, there is a full format graphic that Katie is going to explain for us. This is the general overview of how the entirety of the competition will work front to back. So Katie, take us through it.
Yeah. So all the information you need, as Gojj said, it's going to be on worldseriesofwarzone.com, but it's this graphic that's going to give you the bulk of an idea of how this is going to work. So there's going to be an EU side of things and an NA side of things. Both, however, will follow a very similar format to one another. So you're going to register with your trios. You're going to jump into the World Series of Warzone trios playlist in that in-game open where you're going to fight against everyone else to try and get the best overall score you can so that you can be one of the top 40 teams in your region to move on to the qualifiers. There will be an EU and an NA qualifier. Now, those 40 teams, Gojj, are getting cut in half. Only the top 20 trios qualify and will then go on to the respective finals for each region against 20 invited trios. So you have the 40 coming in from the open. Those 20 will move on beyond that to get to the final. And then it's a showdown against the invited teams, and we'll see the best ones to come out on top.
Really cool format. Really excited about it. Let's talk about it in even more detail at each of the individual stages, especially for those at home that are trying to compete. This is how you do so. So first is the World Series of Warzone in-game open that Katie mentioned. Now, it is going to be open. It is an in-game playlist. You click on the playlist in your Call of Duty Warzone game from August 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific until August 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so you have basically 3 days. What is that? If 72 hours that you have an opportunity to compete in the game for a chance to make it into the overall tournament and a shot at the massive amount of prize pool that we'll talk about. It's 300,000 per region. Now, in those 3 days, you have to put up your 10 best games. Those 10 best games will be scored based on the World Series of Warzone scoring. Okay, so what that is, it's on your screen right now. It is 2 times multiplier for first place, 1.5 times multiplier for 2nd through 15th place, and anything past that, not only do you not want to report that really, or it won't be reported rather, but also you're not going to get any multipliers, right? Like, you got to find a ton of kills along the way, but also win. Ideally win 10 games because you are competing against thousands of teams for the top 40 spots. So that's how it'll work. Now, the big key to this is that you not only have to be in good standing with Activision, but also you register your team on game battles. This is all on the site. You click on the link on the site, it'll take you to the game battles registration. You register your team there, and then you play your games. You can play any number of games in 3 days, but your 10 best scores will be reported. Other really cool thing, there is on this website, there will be a live updating scoreboard of the in-game playlist. So you'll be able to actually see where you stack up at different levels during those 72 hours. And you can see your team go up and down, but you got to be inside the top 40. So you really need to be cranking as many games out as possible in those 3 days.
And that leads you on to what? The qualifier, right? That's your goal, is to hopefully be within the top 40 trios in your region, EU and NA, to be able to move on and get that invite. Now, what happens with the qualifiers? Well, it's going to be a 5-match match series in a custom lobby using the World Series of Warzone scoring, with the top 20, as we mentioned earlier, trios in each region's qualifier being eligible to be invited to advance on to the final. And something that's really exciting here that I love seeing Activision innovate on is that this is going to be the first qualifier that Call of Duty has live streamed. I cannot wait. If you're saying, hey, Katie, where will it be live streamed? It will be at twitch.tv/Call of Duty.
To be on the main Call of Duty page, the same place the finals will be. It's going to be extremely exciting, so make sure you tune in for that, especially because some of these influencers that are maybe some of the biggest Warzone competitors may not get an invite. There's only 20 invited teams, so let's talk about it. In the finals, there will be 20 trios from the qualifiers. They made their way through the InGame Open. They've been in the top half of their regional qualifier. They will make it to the finals. Now, that's only 20 teams. We need another 20 teams. Katie mentioned it before. There will be 20 invited teams, 20 invited trios. Now, last year when we did World Series of Warzone, those invited trios were namely amongst the Call of Duty orgs. They will have like an LA, Thieves team. There will be an NYSL team, etc. I would expect the same, and then probably some Call of Duty partners. People like Tim the Tatman will most likely have a team, a trio that he'll be competing with, and that will fill out the rest of those 20 teams. So it will be a 40-team customs again, same format, same scoring. 5 games for $200,000 of the $300,000 prize pool. Now, if you remember last year, we got to talk about the solo YOLO because it was Scump versus Aided at the last second. It was a 1 game. Everybody, 120 players dropping in as solos for a chance at $100,000. Anything goes. All the rules are open. You can do whatever you want. You don't even need a single elimination until the final one. It was the last person standing wins $100,000. It was an iconic moment in Warzone history, and it will be back in this new World Series of Warzone format for both the EU side as well as the NA side. But it's $200,000 for the finals in the actual 5-game series, and then $100,000 on top of that for each region as well.
That is, you couldn't have said it better, right? It was an iconic moment in Warzone. If you pay attention even passively, you're going to remember that. You're going to have at least heard about it. But you talked a little bit, right, about some of these rules and settings. And one of the other nice things, not only is that qualifier being live broadcast for the first time, but with this, unlike the CDLR, with this new iteration of World Series of Warzone, you can stream it on Twitch, Facebook Gaming, and YouTube. So you have a lot more flexibility to stream how you want, which is a requirement for this. Keep in mind, you must also be streaming, and you may be required to have a delay on. 2 important things to keep note of. And something else that, well, is going to vary from some of the other events we see when it comes to Warzone. No bans, no GAs, Gojj. Have at it. Whatever way you think is going to get you to that crown, you better follow it and see if it works out.
Look, you can do whatever you'd like. This is a competition through and through, but then finally the invited teams come into the finals, and you can use whatever you'd like in order to try to win. However, there's certainly going to be some strategies. Katie, we'll probably talk about it in our podcast tomorrow when we talk with Super Evan about not only this event, but some more Warzone events coming up, about what he thinks the best strategies are going to be. Really quickly, I also want to show you guys the prize pool. This is all on the website. You can see the prize pool. The top half of the 40 teams, top 20 will be paid out. The lion's share near the top, around the top 5. You can see $50,000 to the team that comes in first. If you get 20th through 17th, you're still walking away $1,000 a piece, a $3,000 prize for just getting into the top half. A difficult feat, but still exciting that you'll win something, even if you only get about 20th. Katie, I think we talked about pretty much everything you need to know. If you guys have any questions, Katie and I are probably the foremost leaders in understanding the format and everything that goes into World Series of Warzone.
We got a lot of knowledge, Gojj.
Please feel free. Comment down below, ask us questions. You can DM us on Twitter. All the dates are on the page. You can see 12th through 15th is when the Open is. The qualifier for EU is the 20th. The qualifier for NA is going to be the 21st. And the finals will be into September. That's all on the website for you to find out. But you have to register on game battles. Katie, I think we covered it all. Any final thoughts before we let the people go?
There's no reason not to get into the open and at least try and see how things go. If you're hesitant, you got nothing to lose. It's an incredible event, and I'm sure we're going to get another one of those iconic moments Gojj mentioned earlier. So guys, EU, NA, get in there. Let's see how you do.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you guys for joining us. Subscribe, like the video, come tune into our podcast. We'll be live tomorrow with Super Evan, 2 p.m. Central Time. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you guys then.